Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Good to have you here, as always. Now, I know I've been absent for the last couple of weeks, and I hope you haven't missed me too much, and hopefully this beautiful backdrop makes up for it a little bit. I'm here at the Ankle Botanical Gardens today, and I actually wanted to talk to you about why I actually had to take the last couple of weeks off. It's because of health reasons, and I wanted to talk to you today about those health reasons because they actually stem from my years with the MC and with the gang. So I thought it's kind of, important to talk about all that. So what am I even talking about? Well, I'm talking about addictions and mental health. So you may or may not know that I have struggled with addictions in one form or another throughout most of my life. Now, mostly they've been drug-related addictions, but a lot of it is also overthinking and stressing and all that kind of stuff. You can actually become addicted to that. I'm also heavily addicted to sedating, which is not, taking sedatives, but distracting my mind, doing things that would just numb my mind, like, watching phones and YouTube and stuff like that. It's a form of sedation. Why have I been doing all this? Well, let me talk to you a little bit about my years of my addictions and, give you a bit of a background. So I've talked about a lot of my other videos, about my party years and all that kind of stuff. But I never really talked about the link between my mental health and those addictions. When I first started hanging out with the MC, I'd only really just started partying. And of course, those party years were pretty full on. Now, I didn't get heavily addicted to anything. I did actually have a couple of very serious medical events from drugs. I basically fried my brain a few times. And that put me off, being addicted to narcotics, especially like speed and cocaine that I was doing a lot of. But in my late 20s, I really started trying to sedate myself more and more as the pressures of the MC and the gang life grew, and all the other pressures I had going on, with my marriage and work and yada, yada, yada. I started taking a lot of sleeping pills and painkillers because I had severe insomnia. I couldn't sleep, and sometimes I couldn't sleep for days on end. And then, of course, my doctor actually prescribed me a lot of sleeping pills and painkillers. I'd done a lot of injuries to myself throughout those years, as you do. And of course, I was in a lot of pain. So my doctor had me on temazepam, zopiclone, and codeine for the longest time. I did all this for probably about 10 to 15 years, but I had no idea the effect that it was having on my mental health at that time and how it would affect my mental health much, much later, like today. Fast forward a little bit, I ended up moving back to New Zealand in 2015 from Australia, and I wasn't able to get most of the prescriptions that I actually needed. Now, I had actually started smoking weed just, not too long before I went to New Zealand when I was in Australia. And I found it quite beneficial, but still, it just didn't, it lacked the punch that these sleeping pills did. But, the sleeping pills kept me kind of sedated throughout the day as well. I felt I needed that. Once I got back to New Zealand, shit kind of went crazy. I'd been away from the gang for a couple of years at that stage. I was still kind of living that life, or trying to, not working on healing or doing anything like that, not even close. So it all came to a head, and of course I tried to end my own life. When that happened, I went into therapy. Now, I was no longer on the sleeping pills or painkillers at that time, but I was smoking a lot of weed. I'm talking about 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces a week at that stage. Like, I was smoking a lot, and it still wasn't helping, because my mental health had gotten so bad. It had gotten so fucking crazy up there. No amount of weed was gonna block that shit out, and it just came to a point where I just couldn't block it out anymore, and I tried to end it. When I went into therapy, I found a great therapist who I worked with for, a 1.5 years, and she was fantastic. She helped set me on the path towards Buddhism and how, to actual healing and doing the work that I needed to do. But the one thing she kept saying to me, she's like, you're gonna need to give up weed. Why? Weed's beneficial. It's a great help. Helps everyone. There's thousands of uses for it. It's really good. But she said to me, to do the work you need to do, you need a clear mind. You need to clear it completely. Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't really believe it too much. But then I actually did. I took a couple of months off, and started working on meditation. I replaced sedation with meditation. And it actually really worked for me. It worked really well. My sleep became so much better. My quality of life became better for it as well. Oh, fantastic. This is awesome. Got into a time in my life where I thought, oh, no, I'm okay. I've had a few months off. I can smoke just occasionally, maybe like once a month, and, just use it for a ritual or whatever. Yeah, that turned into, once a week, and then it turned into once a day, and then it turned into 5 times a day, and then it turned into just non-stop. As it does. And so over the last few years, I have really struggled with my weed consumption. Now, I don't really like to call it an addiction because I wasn't addicted to weed. I had no physical withdrawals from it, no physical addiction. But that sedation, oh my gosh, that whole 8 hours of not thinking, oh, yeah, that was absolute relief. For me to achieve that through meditation takes a lot of work. And, I'm human, I'm lazy at times. Yeah, there's a lot of times where I can't really push myself to do these things. And so I'd fall back on these bad habits like smoking weed. But then it got to the point where I became reliant on it all the time. And I started using it for my mental health, for my anxiety. Now, I only really developed anxiety after I went into therapy. I was addressing a lot of the issues in my head. So, of course, all the anxiety started coming out and the anxiety attacks. And it got to the point where I actually started having seizures when I have anxiety attacks, and I still do. I've been to a neurologist, had MRIs and everything, and it is anxiety-based seizures. But again, with the weed, I was like, no, it's cool, it's not the weed, it's not the weed. All the while knowing that the weed wasn't helping me to heal from that and to do the work I needed to do. So fast forward to a couple of months back. Now, a big part of my intention of coming to Southeast Asia is to work on my healing, to work on the inner self. I'm in Buddhist country, a Buddhist nation. It's, where I really need to be. But I've also, again, that whole human laziness, I haven't really worked on myself either. Now, I did intend to actually stop smoking weed while I was here, and I did. In fact, on my 50th birthday, I made the decision that I was going to go sober. Now, that means alcohol, everything. I'm, done with the whole lot of it. It's been fantastic. But the whole time I've been working on other things. I've been working on my channel, I've been working on, trying to make money, and, I'm also 10,000 kilometers away from my partner. That takes a lot of my mental energy, to be able to deal with that. I haven't really been working on myself, unfortunately. So up to a few weeks ago, I was okay with not smoking. Now, a couple of my videos blew up on my channel, really blew up massively. I got to a point where I thought, okay, maybe I can have a smoke, because my sleep had been struggling, especially, the last few weeks. My sleep had gotten really bad again. My insomnia had really kicked in. Sleeping, a couple hours a night, and it's all broken sleep. Having myoclonic spasms all night. And if you know what they are, they're not fun. So out of desperation, because I never want to go back to taking sleeping pills, I thought, no, I'll get some weed. I know it will help me with sleep, and as long as I can moderate it and just use it for sleep only, I should be okay. And I was for the first 2 or 3 days. And then I fell straight back into that old bad habit. And over the last 2 weeks, I smoked almost 10 grams. And the entire time that I was doing it, I was beating myself up because I knew that this wasn't going to help me at the end of the day. I still aren't in a good enough place mentally and spiritually to be able to just casually smoke or smoke when I need to, use it as medicine, which is what it should be used for anyway. So the last few weeks have been chaotic for me. Absolutely chaotic. Now, some of you may have noticed that I actually deleted those videos. Now, I got paranoid. really paranoid about those videos and the reach that they had. It freaked me out. It freaked me out a lot. In fact, every night when I smoked, I was sitting there in just a paranoid state the whole time until I got to the point where I could go to sleep. And that wasn't fun at all. It wasn't fun for me. And so I deleted these videos. And I thought, okay, this is going to solve the paranoia. This is going to solve all the anxiety around having, 60, 70,000 views on a video, because I'd never experienced that before, and it was a bit of a shock to me, especially the videos that I put out. I was like, oh, I didn't really expect them to do that well. So it really blew me away. But unfortunately, that became a negative thing for me. And it's because I wasn't dealing with everything mindfully. I wasn't focused on my breath, which is unfortunately one of the side effects of marijuana for me, is I am not able to maintain mindfulness breathing. So I go into a panic state very, very easily because I can't breathe, and breathing is important, trust me. So where am I at now? Am I okay? Am I still smoking? No. I decided on the weekend that that's it, I'm done. I need to stop. This isn't helping me at this time in my life. I'm still not where I need to be able to mindfully smoke and not, flip out, have anxiety or paranoia or anything like that. So I have stopped, and it's been, I think the last time I smoked was Sunday morning, and it's now Wednesday afternoon. So I've had a few days off, and I don't plan on smoking again in the immediate future. I've realized that it just doesn't help me at all. And I guess I can use the last couple of weeks as an experiment as to whether I am ready to smoke again or not. And obviously I'm not. And so when it comes to things like addictions and mental health, it's a hard thing because one does affect the other always. And a lot of the time, the addictions stem from mental health issues. Like myself, I didn't know how to deal with any of my mental health issues. I didn't know how to deal with my depression or anxiety throughout all the years until I went into therapy. So for me, blocking all that out was the most important thing. But to realize now that it's really not. It's not the way to do things for me. So going forward, what I want to do is the majority of my videos that I put out are going to be around my journey now, around healing, around addiction recovery, and dealing with everything I went through in those 13 years of MC gang life. And I will be re-uploading those 2 videos now that I'm kind of over that paranoia. They'll be coming back to the channel in the next week. So, you can all enjoy those ones. Thank you so much. I will see you on Sunday. And hey, as always, if you want to support the channel and support this guy, there's many different ways you can do it. You can buy merchandise, of course. You can buy me a coffee or a smoothie because I'm on the juices at the moment. But as always, if you really want to support the channel, just give us a huge like, subscribe down below if you haven't already, and hit that little bell to get notified, and you'll be seeing new videos from me every Thursday and Sunday, unless I need to take a couple of weeks off, which I'm pretty sure I won't. So I'll be here every week for you. Thanks all. Have a great day. Love and light to you all.